remained at set fare. It was inconceivable that he should work in clay with his hands. 2. When he was 16, his mother, by operations on 1.5 yards of Brussels point lace, put Mrs. Emery under an obligation. Mrs. Emery was the sister of Mr. Duncalf. Mr. Duncalf was town clerk of Bursley, and a solicitor. It is well known that all bureaucracies are honeycombed with intrigue. Denry Machin left school to be a clerk to Mr. Duncalf, on the condition that within a year he should be able to write shorthand at a rate of 150 words a minute. In those days mediocre and incorrect shorthand was not a drug on the market. He complied, more or less, and decidedly less than more, with the condition, and for several years he really thought that he had nothing further to hope for. Then he met the Countess. The Countess of Chell was born of poor but picturesque parents, and she could put her finger on her great-grandfather's grandfather. Her mother gained her livelihood and her daughter's by allowing herself to be seen a great deal with humbler but richer people's daughters. The Countess was brought up to matrimony. She was aimed and timed to hit a given mark at a given moment. She succeeded. She married the Earl of Chell. She also married about 20,000 acres in England, about 1/5 of Scotland, a house in Piccadilly, 7 country seats, including Sneyd, a steam yacht, and £500,000 worth of shares in the Midland Railway. She was young and pretty. She had travelled in China and written a book about China. She sang at charity concerts and acted in private theatricals. She sketched from nature. She was one of the great hostesses of London, and she had not the slightest tendency to stoutness. All this did not satisfy her. She was ambitious. She wanted to be taken seriously. She wanted to enter into the life of the people. She saw in the 250,000 souls that constitute the 5 Towns a unique means to her end, an unrivalled toy, and she determined to be identified with all that was most serious in the social progress of the 5 Towns. Hence some £15,000 were spent in refurbishing Sneyd Hall, which lies on the edge of the 5 Towns, and the Earl and Countess passed 4 months of the year there. Hence the Earl, a mild, retiring man, when invited by the town council to be the ornamental Mayor of Bursley, accepted the invitation. Hence the Mayor and Mayoress gave an immense afternoon reception to practically the entire roll of burgesses, and hence, a little later, the Mayoress let it be known that she meant to give a municipal ball. The news of the ball thrilled Bursley more than anything had thrilled Bursley since the signing of the Magna Carta. Nevertheless, balls had been offered by previous mayoresses. One can only suppose that in Bursley there remains a peculiar respect for land, railway stock, steam yachts, and great-grandfather's grandfather. Now, everybody of account had been asked to the reception, but everybody could not be asked to the ball, because not more than 200 people could dance in the town hall. There were nearly 35,000 inhabitants of Bursley, of whom quite 2,000 counted, even though they did not dance. 3. 3 weeks and 3 days before the ball, Denry Machin was seated one morning alone in Mr. Duncalf's private offices in Duck Square, where he carried on his practice as a solicitor, when in stepped a tall and pretty young woman, dressed very smartly, but soberly in dark green. On the desk in front of Denry were several wide sheets of abstract paper, concealed by a copy of that morning's Athletic News. Before Denry could even think of reversing the positions of the abstract paper and the Athletic News, the young woman said, "Good morning," in a very friendly style. She had a shrill voice and an efficient smile. "Good morning, madam," said Denry. "Mr. Duncalf in?" asked the young woman brightly. Why should Denry have slipped off his stool? It's utterly against etiquette for solicitors' clerks to slip off their stools while answering inquiries. "No, madam. He's across at the town hall," said Denry. The young lady shook her head playfully, with a faint smile. "I've just been there," she said. "They said he was here." "I dare say I could find him, madam, if you would." She now smiled broadly. "Conservative Club, I suppose?" she said.